8 keys to trigger his love and devotion for you. If you've wondered why a man doesn't seem to be pursuing you, putting in the effort that he used to, or he hasn't at all, maybe the men you attract, they simply aren't acting that interested, that committed. They're not making the effort to show you how much they're attracted to you, how much they desire you, how much they love you, how much they're invested into you. And you're frustrated because what you would really love is to have a man who claims you, who shows you every day that he cares, that he wants you in his life, and that he is investing his heart and soul into the relationship in a serious way. Well, then this training is for you. I'm Brody Boyd, in case you don't know me already. And for over 20 years combined, my wife, Antia, and I have been helping thousands of successful women all over the world to get a loving, long-term, and committed relationship with a man they desire fast. So let's go ahead and dive in. And today we're going to be talking about masculine feminine polarity as the 8 keys to trigger his love and devotion. I'm going to be going into 8 different ways that masculine feminine polarity actually will have a man be interested, attracted, and devoted to you, especially over time, the more that you practice this. So let's go ahead and start with the first principle, which is the masculine gives, the feminine receives. This is a big insight for a lot of women because maybe in the past you've been giving to a man, you've been helping him with things, you've been cooking meals for him, bringing them to his house, or helping him solve problems, providing things for him, maybe even money in some cases. And so this is a big revelation for a lot of women because it's like, oh, I thought I was giving him my care, showing him how much I love him. And I thought that he would appreciate that, when actually what you've done is you've destroyed the polarity, because the masculine is actually the giving, providing role in a relationship. The feminine is the receiving and responding role. Just like in a dance, just like in sex, the giving role is the masculine role. It is providing, it is leading, it is helping, it is solving problems, it is being the hero, is being the protector. So if you're doing any of those things for a man, you've destroyed the polarity essentially. And now there's no more attraction. Now there's no chance of him really devoting and being deeply interested and invested in the relationship. However, you can shift this, because once you start entering your feminine and allowing him to give to you and allowing him to take the lead, like in a dance, he will be inspired to start taking that role. The more he gives to you, you can simply respond. He gives, you respond. He gives, you respond. This is especially powerful for being on like a date, where every little thing he does that you appreciate, you let him know. Thank you so much. Or wow, I feel so taken care of when you open the door for me, or when you picked a restaurant that's close to my area that makes me feel so special and like you care. And thank you. And every time he does something for you like that, even tiny things, big things, you respond. And that is where you get into this flow, this masculine feminine flow, like in a beautiful dance, where now he's able to take the lead, he's able to provide things for you, and he enjoys it. He gets to feel like a hero. He's winning, and he wants to do that more and more with you over time. So it's a beautiful principle to start to embody more in your relationships and with the man that you're interested in. The next principle is the masculine leads, the feminine follows. We've talked a lot about this already, because many of these principles are similar, but they're just slight distinctions. Again, as in a dance, the masculine leads. What this means is you allow him to be the one who's planning things, who's organizing things. You might have thought that actually planning and organizing is something you're good at, that, in your family growing up, maybe your mother was the one who was planning events and planning activities and planning trips, and your father was just kind of, making the money, and maybe he was helping a little bit, maybe he wasn't. But there's actually a confusion here, because actually planning and organizing, even organizing activities, organizing events, organizing plans for the future, is a leading activity. That's a masculine role. And so perhaps you've even noticed that maybe there was some polarity issues with your parents, or maybe there was an instance in your relationships in the past where you were planning out the dates, hopefully not, planning out the adventures you were going on, planning out the next steps in your relationship. And that caused a reduction in the attraction and polarity. And you're like, wait, I'm doing all these things for us. I'm giving so much into this relationship. Why doesn't he appreciate it? Why isn't he doing anything? Like, why isn't he giving back? It's because you've taken the giving role. And so he has no value left in the relationship. He has nowhere to go with that, because just like in a dance, there could only be one person leading and one person following at any time. Similar to if you're in a car, one person's got the steering wheel, the other person's the passenger, right? Enjoying the trip, enjoying the journey. And if you're the one driving him, then what else is he going to do? Is he going to try to reach over and take the steering wheel? You guys will probably crash. So by allowing him to take the driving wheel, and maybe sometimes nothing will happen until he takes the driving wheel, but you have to be okay with that. And you can share your feelings around that until he does step up and takes the initiative. And maybe he won't. Maybe he's just too much of a feminine man, or he doesn't have enough care for you in his heart, or he's emotionally immature or broken in some other ways. And then you have a clear signal. It's like, okay, this man can't give you what you need. You need to move on. But by allowing him to take that steering wheel, to be the leader in your relationship, in our church, they talk about being the spiritual leader of the household. That's the man's responsibility to actually take spiritual leadership as well as the physical leadership, emotional leadership, to really be that protector, provider, and to make sure that everyone in his domain is happy, cared for at all times. Like, that is the masculine responsibility. And that's what's driven men throughout the centuries, is to be that provider, to build amazing cities, to build empires, to keep their family happy, to keep their family safe, their woman safe and happy and prosperous and nurtured. So those are all masculine roles. So inspire him into that. The next piece here is the masculine thinks, the feminine feels, the next key. So I really love and recommend for you moving forward, instead of using the phrase I think, try using I feel. Because what happens when you say I feel is you have to tap into your own body. That's so much of this process of tapping into your feminine energy is about, what are you actually feeling right now in your body? Feeling your feet on the ground, the breath in your lungs, the tingling in your fingers, whatever that could be, any sensations and emotions in your heart, that is your feminine. That is the feminine moving within you. That is the motion of the feminine. And when you actually share those things that are inside of your body and your heart, that is when you're communicating and showing and revealing vulnerably your feminine to a man, your emotions, not so much your thoughts, although you can share those with him as well. But the masculine is more about thinking, being logical, planning things, figuring things out, solving problems, getting an outcome, finding the goal, finding the path to the goal. The feminine gets to be intuitive and feels, and both are very valuable, and they're equally powerful and important. And we all have these both within us, but primarily if you want to operate from your feminine to magnetize and attract a masculine man through the law of polarity, then it's about tapping into that feminine heart and that feminine emotion and the flow, and feeling into it and sharing those feelings. What are you feeling when you're with a man? Everything he does, you can feel and respond. Feel and respond. How does it make you feel when he said that? Share with him. When you said that, it made me feel XYZ. Or do you always use this phrase that you can go back to? When in doubt, share your feelings. I feel. Simply say, may I share something with you? Sure. I feel anxious. May I share something else with you? Sure. I feel sad. Let him respond to those things. Let him hear what you're saying. And then he will feel your heart. He will feel your feminine energy. You're magnetizing in that moment. You're creating polarity in that moment. And then now he is inspired into his masculine, where he's now either solving a problem if you're feeling bad in some way, quote unquote, a bad emotion, or he simply just gets to feel great that you're feeling great as well. And knowing he's doing a good job as the masculine hero in your life, and he wants to do more of that. So it's a beautiful process and a dance that you can both get into. The next principle here is the masculine is the mind, the feminine is the body. We just covered this as well. Little distinctions here. But to actually realize when you find yourself getting too much into your head, contemplating, obsessing, analyzing, thinking too much, even with girlfriends, with yourself, rather than feeling into it, how do you actually feel about the situation? Then you could get into some trouble as far as polarity goes and actually attracting a man to you. Because if you train yourself to constantly be always relying on this rather than this, then a man is going to be like, well, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to be the one who's tapping into all my body and my feelings and how I feel about this and how I feel about that, and receiving and following your lead and letting you solve the problems and letting you plan out the date and letting you plan out our future and you driving the car? So he's going to not have a space for him to actually be activated in his masculine devotion and want to start taking on those roles for you and actually saying, how can I lead? How can I plan out the date? How can I initiate more, communicate with you more? How can I make you happier? You'll activate his masculine when you move from here into here. and share that with him. Also, live from that place, share it vulnerably, and feel into your body. You have to start there, because if you don't even know what you're feeling in your own body because you're so busy up here, you won't be able to communicate that with him. And he's not going to feel like he has a purpose in the relationship. He's just going to feel like, well, I guess I either have to be the feminine in the relationship, or I have to fight her for control in the relationship, who's going to actually take the lead and who's going to be in the masculine energy, or I have to just leave and find another woman who actually does value what I have to bring, or is in her feminine and allows me to actually provide and protect and be the hero for her. And I could create that polarity with her. So you only give him really three options if you're not actively going into your feminine core and your body, because every woman has a feminine core, every man has a masculine core. And once you can tap more into your feminine core, you're actually being your most authentic self. And that's what's going to magnetize a man. The opposite of playing games is actually connecting to your feminine core, where you can then share authentically and vulnerably from that place. I'm going to share a couple more here, and then we're going to get into a Q&A, and I'll look through. I'm excited to hear some of the comments on these. The next piece is the masculine desires respect, the feminine desires love. And these are just fundamental cravings that masculine energy and feminine energy have. A masculine man, he's craving respect. He's craving to be seen as a leader, to be valued for his leadership abilities, to be valued for his problem-solving abilities, to be valued for being himself and providing and protecting and being the hero. And so that's why the masculine craves respect, because that's his signal that he's doing a good job as the masculine. When he feels that you respect him, he feels deep inside of his masculine core, which is in there somewhere for every man, I'm doing a good job. I'm winning with her. I'm making her happy. I'm actually a worthy man. I'm living from my core. I'm actually providing value here. I have a purpose on the planet. I have meaning in my life. You can give him purpose and meaning through your feminine. Give him a reason for existing and a reason for wanting to help somebody. He might not be happy himself, but he's going to feel good knowing that you're happy, and he'll feel better. He'll actually be, that's how men actually feel happiness, is when he feels respected, he feels appreciated. And then he wants to give you the love that you crave. He wants to make you feel cherished. He wants to make you feel adored, because that's your fundamental desire. And the more that you can enter that dynamic, that polarized, healthy relationship, he's going to feel respected. You're going to feel adored. You're both going to be as happy as is humanly possible in a relationship when that's fully operating and fully online. That you're both operating from those cores and those dynamics together. So it's a beautiful dance you engage in. The next piece here is the masculine is doing, the feminine is being. So if you're busy accomplishing things or trying to get an outcome with a man, how can I get something from him? How can I make something happen? Or what else can I do with him? It's actually moving into your masculine energy, as opposed to being. Big part of being is just being there, existing. It's receiving. It is the flow. It is being in touch with the present moment, not overthinking, not trying to plan the future. And like, does he like me? Should I have dressed in a different color? What should I do at the end of the date? Should I tell him I'd love to see him again? Those are all you being future focused and doing and trying to plan the future, rather than being present in the moment, enjoying yourself, having fun, which is a huge piece of the feminine energy, having fun, enjoying the process, and detaching from the outcome, letting the cards fall where they may, instead enjoying the process and enjoying the journey, which is feminine and the feminine being. The next piece here is what we just said as well. Some of these are very similar, but little distinctions. The masculine gets outcomes, the feminine enjoys the process. Again, so detaching from the outcome and letting the outcome actually come from you being in the process. The more you can put your energy into just being the best you can be, enjoying the process, having fun, working on yourself like you're doing here, improvements, enjoying your life, creating a life that you enjoy, that's all part of the process. And then when you do that, the outcome takes care of itself. The man is naturally attracted to you, and men in general become naturally attracted to you, because you're not trying to control him. You're not trying to get him to do something. You're not trying to manipulate him in some way. Instead, you're letting him be, and you're letting yourself be. And that's what inspires him to be a better man for you and want to actually do things to make you happy. You let him be the doer. You let him pay for the date. You let him ask you out. You let him plan things out. You let him make the important decisions as far as, where we're going to go and what are we going to do. And of course, you share your feelings if you feel uncomfortable at any time, or you feel he's making bad decisions or he's not being a good leader, just like you would in a dance. You don't have to continue the dance if you're not enjoying it. You can step away or you can share something with him. May I share something with you? I feel a bit scared right now to let him know. And he can say, oh, okay, why'd you feel scared? I want to fix it. What should I do? What would you rather us go? Where else would you rather do? What other dance would you rather do? Or where else would you rather have us dance? He gets to solve the problem. He's now in the activated masculine, and he's going to start taking that initiative. The last piece here is very important I wanted to share is the masculine solves problems, the feminine shares problems. So you may feel like, my guy, he needs therapy. He needs to work on himself. This guy he has issues. Like, he is a broken man. He needs to get help. And you may want to help him. You may want to give him a book. You may want to give him some advice. You may want to make some introductions for him. You may want to help clean up his apartment, or you may want to help wash his clothes, or you may want to help his relationship with his mother. All these things would be you getting into the masculine, because the masculine is actually solving the problems. The feminine is just sharing the problems. So when you are solving your masculine, we talked about that before, but when you're sharing your problems, that actually is what inspires him to be in his masculine. So there's what we teach in our courses and what we teach in our coaching as well is the feminine, magnetic feminine communication, which is actually how do you share problems in a feminine way that inspires him to actually want to solve the problem and not feel like you're trying to control him or trying to criticize him or trying to blame him or emasculating him in some way. So there are specific ways and specific scripts you can use as well that we teach that help you to share those problems with him so that he is actually inspired to want to become a better man, to inspired to want to solve the problems for you and help you, which puts him into the masculine role. He becomes the giver. He becomes the provider. He becomes the problem solver. And he says, what else can I help solve for you? Do you need your plumbing fixed? Do you want me to fix your computer? Do you want me to buy you a new dog? Do you want me to get your car tires rotated? Like, he'll figure out what problems to solve because he feels great about it. And you respond, receive and respond, how that makes you feel. He feels great. He wants to do more of it. Now you have this healthy dynamic, and he's actually now in the chasing pursuer role, the giver role, and you get to just enjoy the ride. And similar to sex, if you're trying to have sex with a man and you're the one grinding up against him and pumping him, not to get too graphic, but that's you being the masculine, right? The feminine is receiving. And just to use that biological analogy in sex of like the feminine is receiving, the masculine is giving and doing and solving the problem and how to provide pleasure. Like that's the masculine role. It doesn't mean that you can't shift occasionally, and we all have masculine elements of us and feminine elements of us. But when you can tap into that fundamental polarity, you polarize through the law of polarity, the attraction goes up, the passion and the chemistry goes up, and now the man's all over you, and he's head over heels, and he's like, this is the relationship I've been looking for my whole life. Like, where was this? Now I feel I have meaning. So it's a beautiful dance you get into, and that all is provided through the magic of magnetic feminine polarity and magnetic feminine communication. Now, if you haven't yet, I highly recommend to really master these principles and start getting the scripts we talked about as well. Take our free magnetic feminine polarity quiz to get coaching and have a loving, long-term, and committed relationship with a man you desire as soon as possible by going to femininepolarity.com. We'll also have the link in our bio. I'll put a link likely in the comments or description below this training as well. Femininepolarity.com. Highly recommend that quiz. If you haven't yet, it's going to really start you on a path to transforming all of your relationships, not just with a man. That'll become easy, actually, having a quality man in your life, but look at how the other relationships in your life will start to improve as well once you tap into your feminine core and you're able to communicate from your feminine in a way that inspires those around you to want to treat you like just this precious gem that they would never want to lose from their life. Very important, very valuable. So take that if you haven't. Now I'm going to go ahead and answer some questions as well in the Q&A. So feel free to post your questions that you may have based on what we shared and any thoughts as well and comments. I'd love to hear that. And I'm going to start just responding to some of those and seeing what you have to say. So someone said, BB said, no games. If he wants you, he will make it happen. Yeah, definitely no games. This is the no games approach, being authentically vulnerable in the right way. And what happens is it'll inspire him to make it happen. Like, it'll also make a man desire you more. So yeah, the way you have been operating with a man in the past, perhaps from your masculine, or perhaps not knowing some of these principles and techniques that we teach in the feminine communication, you might have created a dynamic with a man where he's not that interested in you. He doesn't feel the spark. He doesn't feel that much desire. He doesn't feel devotion. He doesn't feel valued. He doesn't feel appreciated. He doesn't feel the investment and the chasing energy. And when you learn this, and when you apply it with a man, and you live it in your daily life, and you use some of the practices that we also give you, uh, he's going to be inspired to want to make it happen and to want you. He's going to crave you, in fact. So it's very magical when we see that so much with our clients who start learning this. It's like learning a new language. And over time, it gets easier and easier, and actually becomes much more enjoyable than how you may have been operating with men in the past, where there might have been some more games of pulling away, or I'm not going to text him back until X amount of days, or I have to match his energy. And if he's not investing, then I'm not going to invest. And all of that is actually playing games, because it's not actually operating from your authentic feminine core, which is the actual thing that makes him attracted, not the fact that you're not as interested in him, or that you didn't text him back for several days, or that you pulled away because he wasn't giving you what you want. It's no, actually, your vulnerability and your feelings in your femininity is the most magnetic thing to a man that will actually pull him back. And it's also the best test of a man to see if he's actually a good man for you, how he actually responds to your feminine core. Pamela said, thank you. You're welcome. Alicia said, hello. Uh, Someone said, love these talks. Thank you. You're welcome. All right. So let's see. Here's a question here. Julie said, well, maybe it's more of a comment. Not all of us know that. Many, like myself, have had to move out on our own at 14 due to trauma. Yeah, actually, my wife had a very similar situation when she was younger. She was actually having to get groceries by herself from like age 8, and not being cared for. And it's definitely some trauma that happened in her childhood growing up in her household, which was pretty intense. I've never been loved properly by my parents, so I get confused. Yeah. So if you've been used to survival mode, which is operating from the masculine, where you have to take care of everything, you have to provide for yourself, you have to earn all the money, you have to you have to protect yourself, you have to make things happen. That'll come from that traumatic place. Often it's a fear response. Here's how the process actually works: is there's something inside of you that causes fear or anxiety, whether that's from your childhood trauma that you've had, an anxious attachment style that has also resulted that, or just bad romantic experiences you've had in the past. The fear or the anxiety then leads to you wanting to reduce or eliminate those fears or anxieties. So what the response you have learned is to take charge, to grab the steering wheel yourself, to try to control the situation, to try to control the man, either subtly or directly. Control can be very subtle. It could be simple things like little comments. It could be how you either appreciate him or don't appreciate him. So like holding back. It could be also criticisms, blame. It could be trying to make deals with him. So there's a lot of different ways you may try to control a relationship with a man, guilting him, etc. But it's all still from the masculine. So that becomes masculine. The masculine energy then is that which will push away a man, and will push away a masculine man especially, and cause issues in the relationship, and either cause him to submit to your leadership. And usually that will not feel good to him, depending on how masculine he is. Some more feminine men may actually enjoy it to some extent, but every man has a masculine core. So even then, he will likely get tired of it at some point. Or he will start fighting you for control, and you'll be in this fighting match of arguments all the time. You'll see this often with couples where they don't have a lot of polarity. There tends to be a lot of conflict and arguments about who's going to do what, and you didn't do this properly, and you didn't do this. And because they're both fighting for control, essentially. Or he will just leave because the relationship isn't giving him any value, or he's not feeling valued in the relationship, is more what it is, which actually is the way he feels valued. If he feels that he's being valued, he'll feel value in the relationship. He'll want to stick around, that he's able to provide, that he has meaning and purpose in the relationship. And if he doesn't, he'll say like, he'll try to solve the problem by just saying like, you don't need me. Like, you're happy by yourself. Like, you're an independent woman. You don't need no man. So I'm going to let you be. I'm going to let you just live your life, and you need to find somebody else, or somebody else will hopefully make you happy, or just, enjoy, and he'll be gone. So those are the three responses you'll likely get from that process. Now, I know it's hard to hear. Probably a lot of these things is hard to hear, and you're like, oh man, like I know why my relationships haven't been working in the past, or at least this relationship or that relationship. And it's about now healing. It's the healing process, and it takes courage to be vulnerable. It takes courage to be in your feminine. It takes courage and bravery to share your heart openly with a man, and to let him give to you and receive, and to not control the situation and control the outcome. It feels scary. It'll feel like a free fall, but that's the process of healing, how you actually become a worthy woman, and increasing your self-value, because you're saying, hey, I'm a woman who deserves to actually have a man in my life who takes care of me, who loves me, who treats me well. And you prove that to yourself through your actions of not trying to make that happen, not trying to get a man to do those things for you, but I'm going to allow it. And I'm also going to share my feelings, and I'm also going to appreciate when a man does do these things. But most importantly, you just stop doing the masculine behaviors, stop the madness, as Mr. Wonderful would say, stop the madness, and allow him to start providing and start the engine of his masculine into your relationship. So I hope that was helpful. I want to get through some more of these. So we have here, someone said, I can relate, Julie. So you have other women sharing the same thing as well. Magna said, this is a very, very powerful video. You're welcome, Magna. Glad you liked it. Good appreciation, by the way. I appreciate your appreciation, and it makes me feel good for my masculine that I'm able to provide some of this value for you. So that's a good practice. You can use in some of these comments as well, and with any man in your life, appreciating when he does things that you enjoy and that you get value from, letting him know especially how it makes you feel. Katie said, I always appreciate my husband. I notice he is sacrificing at work and he wants to do more and more. I think he's feeling like a failure. He may be. Again, if you're already appreciating him, that's great, because that'll reduce any of those feelings. When a man feels like he can't make you happy, that's the biggest thing that'll make him feel like a failure, is that he's just not able to make you happy for whatever reason. And usually it's because you haven't actually shared how he can actually make you happy, or when he is making you happy. Instead, it just is focusing on a lot of the things he's not doing right, that doesn't make you happy, the things that you want to change about him. So making sure you're appreciating those things that he is doing that you like, that you appreciate, and how it makes you feel, and encouraging him, and then being his support, and not trying to solve it for him, not trying to step in and say, I know you're working so hard, maybe I can help you with some of the projects, or maybe like giving him advice. Like, don't do that. Just continue to share how you feel. And if you also feel sad, that you can share as well. Like, may I share something with you? Sure. I feel sad. Why do you feel sad? Because I see that you're working so hard for us, and you're sacrificing so much at work, and I appreciate it so much, and I feel so grateful that you are working so hard. And I feel sad because it seems like you may be that I'm telling myself a story that you're feeling like a failure, or that you're seeing yourself as a failure because you told me this thing. I'm sure you said some things that made you think that, and I don't know what to do. And then letting him respond how he can actually make it better, and how he actually does feel, because you might actually also be interpreting that. He'll let you know how he actually feels, and what he thinks, and then he can fix it. And he's going to probably share with you more. Maybe he will make those shifts on his own, and maybe he'll say like, it's worth it to me. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of sacrifice, and I'm working long hours, and I'm doing this and that, but I want to provide a good house for you. I want to provide a good life for my family. And I actually get a lot of meaning out of it and purpose. And I love doing it. I love knowing that I'm making a difference, at least for my family. A more masculine man is going to be family oriented, and he's going to get his sense of value by building and making the family happy, and making his tribe happy, and his woman. So yeah, hopefully that gives you some insights in that, Katie. So again, if you want to master some of these things for yourself, I'll bring it up again. I'm answer some more questions. But if you haven't yet, highly, highly, highly recommend taking our free Magnetic Feminine Polarity quiz, where we can actually help offer you some coaching, some advice, some recommendations to help you on your journey to master these things, to attract an amazing, incredible relationship into your life with a man that you desire. by going to femininepolarity.com, or we'll put the link in our bio. The link is in our bio, or we'll also probably have the link in below some of these videos as well. So make sure you take that as well, or save the link for after this Q&A session, so you can go take that right away, because that's going to take this whole journey for you to the next level, and I would love to support you there. So let's go back to the comments here and or questions. Let's see. I know, man. Katie said, I know he just wants to provide for me, and that's definitely why my husband stopped talking. Yeah, you would have to explain that a little bit more. I'm not sure why he stopped talking. Maybe it was something. Oh, it's probably something that I mentioned that you're responding to, because you commented this earlier. And Phony said it has to be a mutual give and take for the husband and the wife, with much communication. Yes. So the give and take is actually probably different than what you may have thought of in the past or experienced in the past. The give and take and that harmony we were talking about in the relationship is actually him giving into you, him providing solutions, providing protection, providing provision, whatever that can be in your house and in your life, in your relationship, gifts, service, and being your hero. And then you are the give and take, is you sharing your feelings with him, sharing your problems with him, and sharing your appreciation with him, and keeping that flow going in your relationship, where you get in this beautiful dance where you're not just quiet and just letting him do everything, and you're just this overly submissive housewife that doesn't say or do anything, but you are actually active in the relationship. And because that's not actual submission, that's actually compliance. When a man you let him take the lead and do everything, but you actually don't enjoy it. If you don't enjoy his leadership, because the leadership is really for his pleasure and for your pleasure, it's for both. It's pleasure for both. If you don't enjoy that leadership, if you don't enjoy the dance, you have to speak up and you have to say something, and you have to do it often, because that's how you show that you're a worthy woman that he should value, by being in this sharing and open, vulnerable space with him often, so that he actually knows what to do to fix things and make you happy and adjust his leadership. And that's where the give and take comes into play, this kind of nice dance that you get into. Iwa said, and what if he's your friend? Should I tell him about my feelings? I'm afraid to lose this relationship, but I wish we'd be together forever. I love him in the way he is. Yeah, share your feelings with him. You don't necessarily have to share with him right away that you love him, or that you crave a relationship, a romantic relationship with him. Although there are ways that we can help you with that. And this is actually a great situation. This is one situation I would highly recommend getting coaching support on, amongst many other situations. When you're in a specific situation like this with a man, where you can get specific scripts that I can help craft with you, actually would be the best, on how to actually approach him and have certain conversations to actually explore having a deeper relationship, or taking your relationship to the next level, or if he's not committing, or if he's not giving you what you need. Those are very sensitive elements in a relationship, where it's very important. It's very valuable to have some expert guidance and some expert insights to see what you're doing and what your history is with him, and also to give you the right messages and exactly what to say to him, either in person, over the phone, or via text message. That'll help shift the dynamic and help actually have him be more attracted to you. So again, take the Feminine Polarity quiz if you haven't yet. You can get that at femininepolarity.com. We'll have it in our bio and our link. So yes, so in short, you want to share your feelings with him. Start by sharing your feelings. It doesn't just have to be the love feelings. It could just be when you're feeling anxious, when you're feeling sad. Practice using magnetic feminine communication that we teach you, how to start opening up and being in your feminine, being vulnerable with him. And that potentially also can help spark an actual romantic connection. At the very least, you're practicing, and then you can see how he responds over time, which is also why we recommend the 90-day challenge, the 90-day feminine polarity challenge, because if there's a specific man that you're interested in, or you've been dating for a while, or you've been friends with for a while, you may want to give it a set period of time, like 90 days, or you can do 60 days or 30 days, where you say, for the next 90 days, you're going to use everything that we're teaching you as far as magnetic feminine polarity, magnetic feminine communication, getting coaching support, ideally getting advice, getting tips, answering questions for you. And you implement that for 90 days. And if things haven't dramatically shifted in your relationship with him, then you know that he's just not capable of it, either because he doesn't have enough care for you, he's mentally or emotionally damaged in some way, immature, or he is too feminine. He's not capable of actually stepping up and giving you what you need and being the leader and protector, provider, hero in the relationship and chasing and pursuing and making you happy. So there's different things that will be revealed through that challenge. And if it doesn't work out at the 90 days for whatever reason, then you are also in a best place possible you can be because you've practiced for 90 days, magnetic feminine polarity, magnetic feminine communication, to have an amazing man in your life, to easily and quickly attract a high quality, high value man who wants to treat you like a queen and be the best man he can be for you, and to have a loving, long-term and committed relationship for life. You'll be in the best position to attract that. So you'll either attract it from the man you want, or you'll attract it from another man very quickly afterwards. Once you're just become very clear that he's not the man for you, or he actually was inspired by that, and he actually was shifted by that, which is the most likely case. And now you have an incredible relationship. So that's why I recommend Ewa. Hope that was helpful. Hope I pronounced your name right too. She said, he's my hero. I respect him very much. He's making me happy. That's great. But I didn't tell him I'm afraid to lose him. I didn't tell him he makes me happy in everything he does to me. Yeah. Well, that's one great thing to start sharing with him is your appreciation, and do it in the way that we teach, and share primarily how you feel. I feel, share that appreciation. Andrea said, I find the only way to get the guy is to be in my masculine to push him along. Is that really getting the guy though? Or is that trapping the guy? Is that like catching the guy? And also, what kind of guy is that going to be? It's obviously going to be a more feminine man, probably what some people refer to as a Peter Pan, a man who wants a woman to take care of him, to be a sugar mama, to buy things for him, house him potentially, have sex with him, or not even that, sometimes just to be his mama, because a boy doesn't want to necessarily have sex with his mama, but he may like having a mama to protect him. So do you really want to be a mother to a man, or do you want to be a queen to a man, or the princess to a man, the cherished one? So to look at also what kind of guys that is working with, where you have to be the masculine, leading the relationship forward, reaching out to him, texting him constantly, calling him, checking in with him, asking him how he's feeling, asking him what he wants. How else can I make him happy? Thinking of those things. How else can I make him like me? And being the doer. So you're going to attract a certain type of man with those behaviors, and or you will likely just push a man away eventually, and because he may get tired of submitting to your leadership at some point, which most men will eventually, because they all have a masculine core. It's just a matter of how masculine he actually is. So using what we teach you is the solution. Magnetic feminine polarity, magnetic feminine communication, that will turn it around for you. You have to first stop being masculine, stop the madness, stop acting from your masculine, and taking lead with him and with men and telling them what to do and trying to control and manipulate them and drive the car. Like, you have to stop driving for him to be able to drive. You have to get out of the driver's seat. That's the first step. You have to get out of the driver's seat, and it might feel weird to be like, well, now nobody's driving. We're not going anywhere. All right, well, let's just wait. Let's turn on the iPad and let's start watching some videos and wait until he's taking that lead. He's stepping into the car seat, because eventually the car seat, it's because he's a little boy. No, stepping into the driver's seat. And so he's going to move from the car seat to the driver's seat, and he's going to start driving. He's going to start leading because he has to, or else nothing's happening. And you're going to also inspire him to take that driver's lead. So it's not like you just have to wait and do nothing until he takes that lead. Like, you can be active in this, but you're doing it from your feminine. You're sharing your feelings, sharing your appreciation, sharing your problems, doing the 90-day challenge. He either steps up into that role, or it's very clear he's not capable of it. And in which case you need to bounce. You need to float away. You need to move on, detach. But likely he will be inspired and he will start taking that role, because if not him, it will be someone better. A masculine man will be looking in the window and say like, hey, you want me to drive? You want me to get this loser out of here? And like, I'll take you on a ride. I'll take you on a journey. Okay, let's do that. And he's going to get in the car and he's going to be like, let's go. And you'll have a masculine man like 50 Shades of Grey, like making it happen, getting it all handled. He has all the backup plans, and he's just ready to make you his queen because he desires you. And not just to focus on 50 Shades of Grey. I like that because the polarity is kind of extreme in those books. But any romance novel, you could really read any romance novel, and you'll see these dynamics happening. The masculine, dominant provider, hero and this woman that he gets to rescue, and she's not often a weak woman. She's a very like strong woman in herself. She has a strong heart. She's a sense of authenticity and vulnerability and courage. But that's what attracts him to her, is because she is a worthy woman, but she's also a feminine woman. And he gets to kind of take her on this adventure. And eventually he breaks down his barriers and he falls in love. And then they have a happily ever after. So you'll create your own romance novel when you engage in this process. And it just starts by you moving from the hero role into the heroine, the hero to heroine. We should probably make a course or something about that. So hope that helps, Andrea. Just some other insights with that. And Joanne says magnet and steel. Yes, that's what it becomes like. You become the magnet to his steel, his masculine core. It will be attracted to that magnet. That is you, the man magnet. So let's see here. Dan said, I'm pretty masculine and attract guys all the time. Problem is, it's always the wrong ones. Yeah, well, you answered your answer is in your question. So just reread the question and you have the answer. But I think you know that you're just sharing. So yeah, that's great awareness, Danielle. Sorry, Danielle. I get it now. I didn't get the parentheses at first. I like that. Katie said, thank you. You're welcome. Katie had a follow-up question. She said, I mean, he stopped communicating with me for a long time, and I feel it's because he is still thinking he is a failure because he has been really focused just on his job. Does this mean he just wants to provide for me and make me happy? Yeah, so if he's still feeling like a failure because of past things, I don't know. If he's totally out of communication with you, it's hard to know exactly what's going on for him right now. But likely it is because, yeah, he may still feel shame or feel like he wasn't able to make you happy. And so he's kind of drifted away. So, but that doesn't mean it's not impossible to bring him back. If you still have ability to communicate with him, then we can use magnetic feminine communication to magnetize him back to you. Again, take our magnetic feminine polarity quiz. If you haven't yet, that's going to really help you at femininepolarity.com, or you can click the link in our bio to get that, start you on your journey to get support with that as well, potentially get you some specifics. But yeah, as long as you can still communicate with him, you can change the dynamic around. And it starts with also being in your feminine, magnetic feminine polarity, practicing that with other men as well. If you're, oh, this is your husband. Yeah, never mind. I wouldn't start that until this has a resolution at least. But you can start practicing many of the principles we teach on how to actually be in your feminine when you're not with a man. Activities you can do, specific things, specific action steps that bring you more connected to your feminine core. So that way, when you are with him, when you next see him, or through the communication, you will naturally be magnetizing him to you because you're now in your feminine. The law of polarity states the more the feminine attracts the masculine. So the more feminine you are, the more you're going to activate his masculine and draw him to you like the magnet to the steel. So hope that helps, Katie. And thanks for sharing that. Pamela said, how do you get him to propose? Yeah, this is a very important question as well, and something that is one of those sensitive things that is going to be very helpful to have, ideally, coaching support with from an expert with that process, because there's going to be some sensitive conversations you can have with him from your feminine, sharing your feelings vulnerably, that can activate a proposal. It can trigger a proposal. But mostly it's going to be you being in your feminine, using a lot of things we're teaching you here in magnetic feminine polarity and things we teach in our courses and our coaching and magnetic feminine communication, because that's what will inspire him to see you as the woman that he never wants to leave and he always wants to be with forever, because he just feels so fulfilled in his masculine core being with you that he would never want to leave your side. So just by doing the magnetic feminine principles we teach, you're already going to start leading him closer to wanting to propose to you and wanting to commit to you in that way. And the 90-day challenge will also be very powerful, the magnetic feminine polarity 90-day challenge, because that's going to help give you some space and time to make that happen. And not to make it happen, to allow it to happen. But you can share some of your feelings you're having with him, such as, may I share something with you? Sure. I feel sad. Why do you feel sad? Because we've been dating for several months now, several years, several decades, whatever it is for you. And I've noticed that you haven't asked for my hand in marriage yet. And I'm curious why that is. I would phrase it differently if we really went in deep into this, but just to give you like some ideas, some examples of what that could look like. I'm telling myself a story that you may not want to have a long-term relationship, or that you may not be, that might not be something that you see us having, and I'm not sure what to do, and I need help. You're presenting him with your open, feminine, vulnerable heart and your feelings and the problem. The problem is the feelings and the story that you're telling yourself, and he gets to solve it. I don't know what to do. You're giving it to him. Men love to solve problems. You're now giving him a problem to solve, just like a beautiful present you're presenting to him, a problem to solve. He may not propose to you right then and there, but at least it's now opening up the discussion. It's opening up for conversation, and you have to be detached from the outcome, because whenever you have these kind of conversations, you may not get the response that you want all the time, and you have to be okay with that in some sense, because that's the feminine. The feminine is the process and the journey. The masculine is about the outcome. So letting go of the outcome and sharing vulnerably, and trusting and letting the cards fall where they may, and trusting the process. I mean, he's going to respond however he does. You ultimately can't control him, as much as some women in the past may have tried, in your past perhaps, to control a man, to change a man. Ultimately, that's up to him. Ultimately, you can't control him. You can't change him. You can maybe make little shifts, but that'll ultimately probably end up driving him away as well. But you have to, all you can control is yourself, and being your best, most magnetic self, and being in your feminine radiance and magnetism. And that's what's going to either draw him to you or not. But you use this process and use what we teach. That's going to be the most likely thing that's going to bring him to you. EG said, would you do that challenge for someone who started dating another person 2 to 3 months ago, a month after a breakup, or forget it? 2 to 3 months ago. Yeah, I would do the challenge. I would probably do it more as a 30-day challenge in that case, possibly a 60-day challenge. If you're just now, if you don't have any communication with him right now at all, I would probably do it as a 30-day challenge. If you're in talks with him right now, maybe you've seen him a couple weeks ago or recently, it doesn't sound like that's the case, then I would do it as a longer challenge, like a 60-day or a 90-day challenge. I wouldn't, in very rare cases, would I do it longer than a 90-day challenge. That's more if you've been married to someone for 10 years and the relationship is almost done, you're almost divorced. Then I would say maybe you could do a 6-month challenge or a 4-month challenge to really give it a go and to really fix this. But with you, I would probably just say 30 days. Yeah, Pamela said he treats me like a queen, but it's taking too long to propose. Yeah, too long. Been dating him for over 6 years. Wow. Yeah. So it's going to be good to open up that discussion with him in the right way, from your feminine, sharing vulnerably, not trying to control him, not trying to tell him what to do, not trying to make him propose, because you can't do that anyways. All you can do is share vulnerably and be open with him, and he's going to be inspired to propose or not. So yeah, we can definitely help you with that. And that's going to be some important conversations to have. And I think now is a good time. If you've been dating for 6 years, it is good to start having some more of those conversations. I don't call them commitment conversations. It's more of what we already teach, which is feminine communication, doing it in the right way that'll inspire him to open up and hopefully also start taking some action, because he'll want to make you happy. Iwa said, thank you for the response. He's not feminine, but he can be broken in some way. He called me a princess twice. Oh, that's great. Yeah, it's a sign of a masculine man if he calls you princess or queen or baby girl, baby doll, or like babe. That's like a lot of people. That's not usually a more masculine man will use those words, because they're kind of endearing. They're more like treating you like feminine, feminine, delicate creature that he wants to take care of. So yeah, so that's good. Princess is great. I like when a man is calling you that, because that's a good sign he's invested and sees you as someone he wants to take care of. Joy said, what about a man in his 60s, hasn't had a real relationship in many years and very stuck in his ways? Days he has never been the chaser. Yeah, well, men can still shift. Perhaps he's just never really been inspired by a truly feminine woman, which can be you, to actually magnetize him into his masculine. He could be a more feminine man. He could be having some emotional damage, like Ewa was talking about. It could be emotionally broken in some ways, mentally broken in some ways, immature. But that can all be shifted. And often there's a lot of that can be shifted by you being in your feminine. You can inspire a man out of his old ways into his new ways. by you moving into your new ways, by you being more feminine, using magnetic feminine communication with him. You can pull him out of his shell and inspire him to be a better man, to be a different man, to move into his masculine, because it's the law of polarity. Again, the law of polarity states the masculine attracts the feminine. The more feminine you are, the more masculine he's going to be. And you create this magnetic polarity with each other. So it's really a law of the universe. And if he doesn't become more masculine, when you become more feminine, he's either going to become more masculine, or if he doesn't, because he's broken and because he's just too stuck in his feminine, then, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot you can do with that. If you are using the 90-day challenge and you've been in your magnetic feminine polarity with him, you use magnetic feminine communication in the way we teach, and hopefully getting coaching support and help with that as well, and he hasn't shifted, then that's your sign. That's your sign he's not capable. He's not able to do it with any woman, really. And you have to then check in with yourself. Are you okay with that? Are you okay with the fact, knowing that he may never shift? He may never give you what you need or what you want in that way. Will you still want to be with him or not? Well, that's what the challenge will provide for you, and will allow that to become clear. And ideally, that won't be the case, and he'll actually shift out of his old stuff and become a better man for you, and become a chaser, become a provider, protector, hero, and want to communicate with you regularly, check in, make you happy, solve your problems, and feel great being more of the masculine role, like in the beautiful dance. So it was said, I wanted to write him the letter with 10 things I appreciate him. Yes, the appreciation bomb we teach. That's very powerful as well. I watched your film about the appreciation bomb, but I don't know if it's a good idea. Yeah, so that appreciation bomb can be great. I recommend using that specifically in a situation with a man where you haven't been in touch for a while, maybe a couple weeks, and then you want to share it to him as really like a gift to him, because the masculine desires respect and appreciation. So really you're giving him, like, just, this is what you desire. Like, this is the biggest gift I can give you. Not like doing things for you, but sharing my appreciation in a powerful way. Yeah, I would recommend, if you haven't taken the quiz, and maybe getting some coaching support with that, because we can help navigate that for you, whether you should send it or not. What I actually like to do with our clients and the women in our groups, our coaching groups, is which we have many women in there who often ask me, like, they'll run these messages by me before they send them to a man, and I'll look them over and say, yeah, I would maybe tweak this part a little bit. This was a little too sexual, or this was a little bit maybe too aggressive. And coming from your masculine, we want to share some more feelings in this part. And so I could actually look it over for you and recommend, and based on your history with him as well and some other dynamics, if I would send it to him or not. And then also, after you send it, how to navigate how he responded, what to do next, and the whole journey with you and him together to creating a better and better and better and better relationship. So I would love to help you with that as well. That's what I'd recommend in that situation also. And then Pamela said, he is very consistent doing things for me and spending time with me every weekend since we met, and a day during the week. Oh, yeah, that's great. Consistency is always a good sign. And that's also a sign he's probably feeling that attraction and polarity, and it's been activated. So that's good to look for. All right. Pamela said, it's a different Pamela. I have been doing, and we're going to start wrapping up pretty soon. In about 6 minutes, I want to give this like a full solid hour. Pamela said, I've been doing your work and he's acting very attracted to me, but he's not wanting to go to the next step. I'm in a high position in work and I'm afraid perhaps my role is intimidating to him. I am very open about how I need him and appreciate him. That's good. I know he's drawn to me, but he hasn't asked me out. Yeah, so I would recommend doing the 30-day challenge and taking your magnetic feminine communication to the next level with him, because it sounds like you're doing a lot of things right. We just want to see, what are there some areas. It's not so much about your job. Your job can be an issue in the sense of if it pulls you too much into your masculine and you're not able to transition with him, and you're using masculine communication throughout the day, and you're being a leader, and you're maybe leading a team that's even like more putting you in your masculine. Because with him, you have to shift when you get home, and when you're communicating and interacting with him, you want to shift into that feminine role and allowing him to be the leader, and you being this follower that appreciates and shares and is enjoying the dance with him. And if you're not enjoying it, you need to share the problems as well. You need to share your negative emotions as well with him in the right way, so that he doesn't feel attacked or criticized or blamed, but instead just simply connecting to your heart. Yeah, so that's all it is. Because the dynamic, the law of masculine feminine polarity means if you're more masculine and he's more feminine, in order to shift the dynamic, you have to become more feminine than he is. He could be a more feminine man, but all you have to do is become more feminine than he is, and you start to shift the dynamic where now he starts to become more masculine, he starts to lead more, you start to become more feminine, and now you have a healthy polarized relationship. And he's taking the lead, he's taking charge, he feels valued, he feels needed, he feels excited about the relationship, he feels like he has purpose, he has meaning, and he's wanting to do more things for you. What other problems can I solve for you? I know that you make more money than I do, but what other problems can I solve for you? How else can I provide? How else can I make you happy? How else can I protect you? How else can I be your hero? And so you can still get that polarity even in a situation where you're making more money than he is, or you're more in your career mode than he is. But you have to be able to shift that, and it's going to take some practice, and it's going to take some guidance. The next, sorry, my daughter's just outside the door, but I'm going to go protect and provide her for her when I'm done with this, and be her hero, which I will feel great by and feel meaning by and purpose by, and my wife. So that's what the masculine looks like in a family dynamic. So anyways, the next piece here, I'm going to see if there's any other questions. Pamela said, I've had conversations like this with him, but he keeps saying to be patient. It will happen. Yeah. So look to his actions, see if he actually is shifting, and you have to continue to use this communication with him, continue to share. You don't want to overly do it where you're just sharing constantly about what your problems are and how he's not doing enough. And that's also how you balance it with the appreciation. You balance it with this, what he is doing right. And when he does shift into his masculine, and when he is doing things for you, and how it makes you feel. So you want to balance it out and not make sure you're not just sharing problems with him all the time, but sometimes you do, because this is also the best test to see, if you do the challenge, if a man is actually capable of giving you what you need, because he may not be. And that might just be the unfortunate reality that will become apparent after you've done this for long enough, at which time you may want to move on. But then you're also going to be your most magnetic self to attract a more masculine man into your life potentially. So there's going to be some important decisions to make. So the next piece here is, let's see. My daughter almost came in. It's okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to wrap this up pretty soon. Anyways, it's getting a little late here. Sort of one final question here. What's your intention with me? Mine says my queen. Yep, that's great. That's a good one. You're a powerful someone. Pam said, this is so powerful, so informative. Thank you. You're welcome. This is simply beautiful. You're welcome. Great advice. Thank you for the appreciation. I appreciate that. And yes, so we're going to wrap it up today. But again, if you haven't yet, highly recommend taking our free magnetic feminine polarity quiz. That'll help you start getting more into your feminine and attracting men, and also knowing how to communicate. And we have some recommendations as well for you to get some coaching support, potentially help you on your journey. I would love to coach you personally, of course, into stepping in your feminine and attracting a right man, because that's how we can get the results the quickest, rather than just answering a bunch of questions. And we want to create more happy couples on the planet. That's our mission. So I would love to help you to do that, to have this amazing relationship with the man you desire, and do that quickly and sooner rather than later, so you don't risk him pulling away or losing interest because you haven't really operated in the most effective way from your feminine with him, or there's some other issues that might be getting in the way that we can help solve for you, because I also love to solve problems. So much love. Hope this is helpful. Take care, and I'll look forward to talking to you in the next powerful training or video very soon, or in our coaching groups as well. Much love and take care.